Andrew, good to have you on the show. We always start off with a little introduction of yourself and the business and the industry that you're in, and then we'll go from there.
Sure thing. Hi, I'm Andrew. I'm the founder of 60 Seconds. We run a video marketing agency that's heavily using AI at the moment.
And I'd like to start with journey before owning a business and founding 60 Seconds. Could you take us through sort of your career up to that point, and then the motivation behind starting your own business and stuff like that?
I had a really short career before actually setting up my business. I was trained under a BAFTA award-winning producer-director from the BBC. So he hired me as his apprentice. It was a very small team. It was literally potentially the two of us full-time. But we'd run a full production or a video studio. We'd bring in freelancers. We'd do everything from the shooting to the editing and the pre-production. I spent 5 years there learning every area of the production workflow. And at the end of the 5 years, he said, if you go on your own, I'll become your first client. So he gave me what I needed to set up my business on my own. I was a naive little 21-year-old wandering out into the world of work thinking, right, how do I get started? But actually it was a really good time to actually do it. I had no mortgage. I was living at home with my parents. It was very easy to financially be able to bring the money in to support myself. So 21 set the business up, and that was just over 10 years ago now. And I've been running the business ever since. It was initially called AJB Media because obviously I wanted my name up in lights. And then we transitioned into 60 Seconds in 2015. So this is 10 years trading as 60 Seconds.
Did you see, was it like a gap in the market that you spotted, or you just thought, I'd like to go off and do this on my own now, or what was the reason behind going alone?
A good question. So when I was working at Halo Films, which was the company I was working at previously, the clients would spend a lot of money creating the initial video, but then not enough thought about how to use the video. And I saw video as an up and coming. This was before video was a thing, right? Video's everywhere right now, but back then, for businesses, video was your fancy, glossy video, but not your short form, not everything that you're seeing on social right now. So I definitely saw the trend that was going to be here to stay. And I saw that from a young age, just fell in love with video. And then what would happen would they spend a lot of money on the video, they wouldn't promote it heavily, and there wouldn't be this return on investment. So the whole reason I've set 60 Seconds up is I believe that they could spend a lot less creating the video, and then they could spend more on actually promoting the video to get the desired return on investment off the back of it. So our mission statement here is unlocking the power of video for businesses and how to take those videos out to get what you ultimately wanted in the first place. How does it help the business?
Cool. Yeah, makes sense. And we'll go into like where the business is now a little bit, but becoming a founder at a young age, you say how old will you have been at when you 21?
Yeah.
When does the first team member come along?
I think it was a good 2-3 years before I hired a team member. Having not been in a business that was run by more than the person running the business and me doing potentially most of the things in the business with some support from freelancers, I didn't really know about org structure and who would do what and how it all kind of comes together. So having learnt that along the way has been quite difficult to find out how it's actually structured. So it's just been a lot of self-learning.
Would you say that's, say, two years in or so, obviously the delivery that you're doing, by the back of your hand, and then to get people to take that off your hands. I know I struggle like stepping away from the tasks that you have done and have done for a long time and done well, to then trust somebody else to come in and take that off you. Was there anything that you struggled with in terms of like letting go of some things, or was it quite a relief?
Yeah, it was definitely difficult, like letting go of anything in full. I think I hired an apprentice, so it's more like I hired an assistant for myself to help work with me on tasks as opposed to giving them like a core responsibility in the business. I'm actually quite a true believer that you can be like multi-skilled and do multiple roles, especially in like a startup environment. So I don't think we've ever overly hired for a specific role until maybe year 5 or 6. So having that first apprentice was just me passing the baton on to someone else in a way that was what was given to me. I came in as an apprentice, I stayed there for many years and like progressed up the way through, and I wanted the same I wanted to give the same opportunity in my business. I was either faced with, when I became an apprentice, the choice was go to uni, and I never really considered that as an option. So then I didn't really have anything after college to progress onto. And then I was looking at repping in Spain for a year, just thought I'd take a nice year out. And then one of my college professors said, why don't you go along for this apprenticeship? So the apprenticeship was £2.50 an hour. It was quite close to where I lived, so it was really good. So I went for the interview. I went for the interview for both. It was an 8-hour all-day interview for the Thomas Cook rep job, and it was 3-staged interview for the apprenticeship. Long story short, both of them ended up rejecting me. So I was there saying, oh, what am I actually going to do? And then a couple of weeks passed, and then they both got back in touch and actually offered me to continue the application process. So Thomas Cook put me on a waiting list and was going to ship me out to Spain. And the apprenticeship said, actually the guy that we had initially given the job offer to didn't take it. Would you consider coming back in? So I was faced with the dilemma. Do I do a year of sunsy and sex inside of Spain as a young lad, or do I go and take £2.50 an hour as an apprentice? So it was obvious. I went for the £2.50 an hour.
Probably not all 17, 18, 19-year-olds would have taken that choice, but
What I'd be doing now, I'd probably still be out there, right?
yeah, still on a gap year 10 years later. Let's bring it more up to date then. So the business starts 10 years ago, you're focusing on the video side of stuff. Where is it now? What are your main, have you had to pivot at all? Have you added services? What are you providing for clients now, and who are like the type of clients that you're working with?
Yeah, so the business mission still remains the same. We unlock the power of video for businesses, but I believe the power in the video side comes from the promotion, the return on investment. And when you look at the market, you've either got video production agencies and you've got performance agencies and ad agencies. And quite a lot of the time, they don't have the creative agencies internally. So you require 2 different budgets, 2 different types of partners to work with. And the aim was always to bring those 2 together, so you only have one point of call. We're going to be your creative experts, but also how do we use that video effectively? So when I first set the business up, we were heavily focused on the video production side. How do we make more videos for more clients so that they can do more internally with that? So we went from video production, which was very manual, me running around with the camera, trying to charge thousands of pounds for a company to have a quick video. And that progressed on to a video software platform. So think of Canva, but a very simple form system where you can't do drag and drop. So instead of you sending an order via an email, you would fill out a very simple form that would then quickly, in 60 seconds hopefully, create the video and then send that back to the end user. So for the next 5-6 years, it was very much how do we build this software? And the software was exciting because it came with subscription revenue and it allowed me to then have sustainable revenues to be able to grow the business. So every single client, whether it was video production or on the video software, they came and created videos because they wanted more eyeballs or more attraction or more leads. They wanted this end result. And any time that they came back to us, they wouldn't want to maybe invest more unless they had that key objective that they were after. So I think it was around 7 years in, we then started up more of a marketing arm, a lead generation arm. So we do paid ads with the content that we created so that we could say, not only did we create the video, we've now generated you hundreds of leads off the back of it. One of our early case studies is we worked with a recruitment company called Manpower. So Manpower are one of the leaders, especially in the UK, of hiring especially blue-collar staff. So these are your warehouse operatives, your van drivers, your HGV drivers. And when it comes to Christmas, they've got thousands, potentially, of headcount to bring in a very short space of time for the Christmas rush, and they call this peak season. And we were brought in right at the end of peak season, where they gave us £5,000. We then used that £5,000 with 4 videos, and we put it into Facebook ads. And we were able to then generate them 4,318 applications in less than 2 weeks from the £5,000 ad spend. It was so successful that they phoned us up to pause it because their team of 30 recruiters couldn't even keep up with the amount of leads that they had. And then that really started the next phase of the business for me, where I was consulting with some of the UK's biggest businesses on digital transformation projects about how they could use video as an attraction tool. So we would work with Manpower, River Island, Blue Arrow, quite a lot of recruitment companies, because one of the first clients I started working with at 21 was a recruitment business, a recruitment agency. And when I was embedded in this recruitment agency, I found that they didn't really value marketing. Their whole mantra as a business was to find someone recruiting for a role, give them a cold call, ask, hey Tom, would you like help with recruiting for this role? Right? And recruitment was really successful because they were able to find people that were recruiting, help them, and then charge a big uplift for the service of actually getting someone to be placed, with typically like a percentage of their salary. So I worked with a small recruiter, maybe 20 heads, and then I managed to land my first £100 million a year client, and then kind of progressed my way up through the ranks. So much so, even Indeed.com came knocking down our door asking for video and promotion because of a free video that I gave to a recruitment network. So it's kind of progressed stage by stage. Where the business is at today is we've created video software that not only helps you create the video, but creates tailored AI-driven messaging around the video content to send it out. So for example, you might use a tool like an Apollo or a Zoom Info where you can get verified B2B data. We would then plug that into our AI tool. It would research each prospect, find out about their business, it would be trained on our business, and it would write a personalised outreach message for each individual prospect. And then on top of that, to get the video in, we then personalised each video to each prospect. So the video would be Tom with a play button, and that would get more clicks through to the landing page. We then built more and more tools that we've added into the suite, and it would have landing page personalisation, video tracking, CRM integration. Everything that I did when I was the salesperson advertising for my business or trying to get leads in, I systemized the workflow and then got AI to do all the heavy lifting to do it. Because you typically, and you'll know this better than anyone, you can either send out tons of emails with a template, or you can send very personalized videos and emails, but it's going to take you a lot of time to deliver them. And then when AI came out, I decided, can we get the scale of outreach that you do with a template, but with the hyper-personalization that takes time and effort to do? And that's ultimately what we've built now, is the video creation element is, I'd say, a good third of the business. The video promotion is a third of the business, and the tech side and the analytics and the tracking, that's the other third. And it all comes together into that video marketing arena.
Yeah, I've seen some of the videos in action. It is impressive. Just to be clear for some people that might be listening, the personalized videos, that is for like, or seen as one-on-one outreach. It's not like you're scrolling Facebook and you get an ad and it's personalized to you. The personalized videos, is that just for the like one-to-one outreach, or does that cover the ad side as well?
Yeah, correct. It's mainly around the one-to-one outreach. So you might send this in an email or a LinkedIn direct message or connection request. And then instead of just having text, you would have text with a link or text with an image that clicks through to a landing page. Yeah,
and the sort of the personalisation, I probably came into the B2B lead gen world when personalisation existed, but it was getting a virtual assistant to go on the LinkedIn page and then say, "Oh, saw you went to Loughborough College," and that was about as far as personalisation went. And then, obviously as the years go on, you have to get a bit smarter because everybody starts doing that. Mm-hmm. And then you've got like the introduction of Clay now, which can do a bit more, enrichment and a bit deeper scraping on the personalisation side. And I think that now you're taking that to the next level in like the videos. Like I've not seen anybody use videos at scale for the person. Other than there was a software that you could record a video and then it would just show the screen recording was you on their website.
Yeah.
But you're not actually saying anything that's relevant to them. They just think, oh, he must be on my website. But then people catch on to that, and then you've got to evolve. You've got to go again and keep the process evolving, and everything just gets a bit smarter. And I think right now there's a fine line of like something clearly being AI, like I don't know, the LinkedIn comments that you see of great post, totally agree. Like you just know that's know that's AI. How do you find getting that balance of being above the line of somebody realizing that this is clearly like AI and this person might have actually recorded this video?
Yeah. Well, our job is to make sure that you don't know what we've produced is AI. So when it comes to the video side of things, I don't think that cloning, let's say me, as an avatar, where you're taking control of my lips and my voice is necessarily there yet. If you've seen anything like Synthesia or HeyGen, they typically have these avatars that you can type text in, press print, and out comes this personalized AI video. So when people think of personalized video, that's probably where their mind's going, is these Synthesia avatars. But I believe that it's a very human experience to be able to sell to someone in even the outreach. So what we do is we'll use engaging motion graphics. So you design something like this using Adobe. So the Adobe Suite and After Effects. So you would take the brand guidelines, you take the message, and you blow it up in lights. So we think of this as instead of a cold call, you've got a video to advertise the message. And then it might cut to a pre-recorded video of me reaching out for that reason. So the first 5-10 seconds, an AI clone of my voice would say, oh, hi Tom, I saw you're recruiting for a sales rep right now in your business. And then it would cut to, I want to show you that there's a better way of doing this, and it's A, B, C, D. Would it make sense to have a 15-minute phone call? Click below to be able to do it. And the aim is for it to feel like a genuine one-to-one outreach that you don't think is AI. And if I manage to strike the balance correctly, then I may have captivated your attention to then taking that next step. And it's all about converting the funnel process, each stage of the funnel more effectively. Can I get people from email to the landing page? Can I get them from a landing page to then convert into a call? Can I convert the calls into a proposal? Can I convert X amount of proposals? And then when you know that, you can scale a business.
Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of companies go wrong, in the fact of you just have to unlock the next step. Like you sending an email isn't to sell a 50 grand service. You're not going to sell a 50 grand service off the back of one email. You just have to unlock the next step. And it's interesting because if we go through like the last 6 months, I think I've seen like the biggest change in B2B sales and lead generation that I've probably seen, that I've probably ever witnessed, because the barrier to entry of sending 1,000 emails a day is so low. So the sheer amount of volume that people are receiving every single day, offering the same services with outrageous guarantees, that just puts like legit and businesses that are actually good at what they do, they're all in that same bucket of mass outreach, and it seems like everybody's selling the same thing to the same people. So now I've gone down the route of relationship building and starting conversations in different ways rather than direct salesy messaging. Now I think that you've gone probably the other way, but I think that both of them are right. Like, I'm probably not advanced enough in the AI and stuff to be able to set up a software that does all this video stuff. But I think the people in the middle are going to be just completely left behind. It's the people that realise how difficult it is to get somebody to respond now. The ones that don't pivot are going to struggle massively. But I'd like to think that me and you will both get there in the end, or we're on the right track.
Yeah.
But so the introduction of the video stuff, were you doing the usual mass emailing, salesy outreach before coming across this video stuff?
When I first tried doing mass email outreach. So when I looked at how do I scale my business, it's too reliant on me. How do I systematize it? How do I make it better? But first, I need to find what works for me so I can then pass it down to salespeople that I hire.
Yeah.
So when I first started cold outreach, so I chose cold outreach out of the 3 buckets. So you've either got organic, which is what you just mentioned, so you're building your personal brand, you're having good, great conversations, and then you could also do referral partners, SEO, other ways of getting kind of traffic through the door without reaching out to someone. You've got paid advertising, so chatting from the rooftops about what you do to a big audience, or you've got telling people about your business, being cold outreach, cold calls, cold email. So because we're bootstrapped, we didn't have investment, we chose to go down the cold outreach route because we couldn't afford paid ads, and my expertise and time and patience isn't with organic. So by choosing cold outreach, so cold emails, I decided to send out waves of templated emails. The response, I'll be honest with you, wasn't great. I had more people politely telling me to do work, often not as polite as I'd hoped. Hey, not interested in hearing about this, take me off your list. And actually that's got even harder and even worse, right? We've got GDPR to contend with, so everyone's got their backs up, especially when it's email. So from choosing email for our advertising channel of choice to start with has only become harder and harder over the years. One of the most difficult things now is actually landing in primary inbox. Can you get your message out there? Can you get it into primary inbox? If it's in updates, promotions, or worse, spam, no one's going to come back to you. No one's sifting through their spam box to actually come back to you. And if they do, they're not going to be the right quality of lead for you to work on. So that's when I started researching each prospect manually, coming up with into the CRM, who are they, what do they do, where could they be using video, and how can we help them? Writing a message, and I'm not the best writer in the world, so it used to take me a long time to do it. Then I would record a personalised video and I would send that out. The problem with that, as much as it got much better responses and people were willing to give me the time of day to look at what we did, they weren't so it wasn't the right amount of leads to kind of come through that would then hit the sales funnel that we needed. So how do I scale that? And that was the dilemma. I don't want to just spam out the same message to everyone because I'm not getting any leads through. I am getting leads doing this, but if I continue to do this for the rest of the business, then my time is probably better placed elsewhere. If I brought in a junior sales rep, and this is what I tried, to do that same method that was working for me, they didn't get nearly the same response. So having the founder of the business reach out to you as opposed to the junior sales rep that's just trying to get a demo over the line, it's a completely different perception, so it's not scalable. So the plan was knowing what worked and what didn't work, and with AI, I was able to clone what I was doing to then increase the send rate 10x to then get 10 times the amount of leads. I still hired salespeople, but the salespeople's job now isn't finding the leads, it's just doing the calls that land on their lap and then doing follow-up around when they haven't got calls booked in. I think the best thing that we ended up doing was tracking further the engagement. So because we were able to put the videos inside of there, we were able to track, did they click to view the page? Did they click to view the video? Did they watch the whole video? How long did they spend on the page? It's unlocking way more engagement metrics to go on. And that really enabled us to unlock the second channel, so paid ads. So I'm not sure if you've run LinkedIn ads or Facebook ads in the past, but one thing you can do is upload like an audience that you want to send it out to. So if you've got their email address, you can send them into LinkedIn, you can set up an audience. And LinkedIn say if you've got more than 300 people in the audience, we'll allow you to send ads to them, but we will anonymize that data set. So job number one, get more than 300 people that have viewed the video, send them into LinkedIn, and then what LinkedIn will then do is automatically start sending them videos onto their feed or images. And then that would then be a second or third or fourth stage in the sales process to get them to click through to the landing page and come in as a lead. So this two-staged approach of finding data, sending them a very personalized email with video, and then based on the interaction, sending them the second stage is a really streamlined way of educating people on what we offer, starting the conversation, then bringing them into our calendars.
It is sort of like the relationship building. Well, like the trust. I think trust is the key similarity between like the two methods that we're going down, of people knowing who you are. And like I said, people are getting that many emails these days that they want to buy on their own terms, so they want to be able to do their own. The way that I'm looking at it is they want to be able to do their own like research, and like Daniel Priestley has a 7-hour rule that I've always gone off for the last like 4 or 5 years. I think he's added to that now after his new podcast with Stephen Bartlett. Oh, yeah. Like the 7-hour rules of like somebody has to view or interact with you for 7 hours, whether that's marketing content, sales letters, face-to-face meetings, virtual meetings. You have to build up that 7 hours for them to be in a position to be able to trust you enough to then buy from you. And that's something that's something that I've used for a long time, but I've always probably seen it as like face-to-face, like calls like this. When actual fact, like them just seeing you on LinkedIn all adds up to that. So the similarities that you've just talked about building trust is so important now, because there's so much out there, and they just have to trust you first, and then they'll happily get on a call with you.
The more they see, the more they know, like, and trust you. So how do you build that over a series of stages?
Yeah.
So not being able to have 7 hours of conversations, but you could have what I say is it's usually 5 to 11 touch points. It might be 3 emails. It might be a warm, I like to say warm call, because our guys don't cold call here. We'd always call someone if they're viewing the page, viewing the video. We might drop them a line and say, "Hi Tom, I sent you a video the other day. I'm not sure if you've seen it." "Oh, hi Andrew, I'm actually on that video right now." "Great, let's have a chat." But then every single touch point is nudging someone further and further down the sales funnel. Yeah. So there's the top of the funnel, how to get people in, the middle of the funnel, how to keep them nurtured, and that might be quite long or quite short, and then how do you get them into sales conversations. And then typically it's 2 or 3 sales calls before they're feeling confident enough to take that next step anyway. And then if you're producing video and you've got, let's say, the influencers out there, they're all like mini celebrities, right? Because you've watched them so much. If you came across and they're walking down the street, you'd feel like you know them. So I think it is that needing that 7 hours or those different touch points to be able to be confident in what they're offering. Because lead generation, if I come into your inbox and I say, "Hey Tom, I'm going to generate you 1,000 leads, and I'm going to guarantee that you're going to get 50 grand a month extra out of what we're doing," you're not going to trust me. I don't know enough about your business, so I don't even know if I can help. So that's the actual battle we've got right now, is why should someone trust me with their investment to helping them get more investment? And often people will have had bad experiences with lead gen companies because no one takes the time of day. They're just old school mentality, send out 10,000 emails, hope they get one person that's interested, hand that over to the actual company. So I think you do have to stand out, and the things like video that's not scalable are our competitive advantage for how do we get more eyeballs. And it's actually allowed us to open up the US market, because sending emails out to the States, there's 10 times greater opportunity. We can jump on a Zoom call nowadays, and I get people time and time again say, "Hi Andrew, I'm jumping on the call today because you stood out in my inbox." And it's like, but you probably get 50 plus of these every single day. How many calls do you take? "Oh, yours is the first." Okay, we're doing something much better. How do we double down on that?
I said this last week, I think it was, but I think that sales teams or the smart businesses are going to really invest in well-known salespeople. The salespeople that have their own personal brand, and they can almost be like an entrepreneur inside of a business. So they still don't I'm totally against salespeople doing their own outreach because of the tools that we've gone through. Like they should just be talking to people and bringing people in that want to buy from them. And I think salespeople with like one person that has a massive following can outperform a team of 10 SDRs or something like that. And I think there's a real opportunity for salespeople and business owners to go down that route. So they don't necessarily know the business, but they know the person that has moved to that business, and they will just follow them wherever they go. I think that's where some sales teams are going to go, like in the next 1 or 2 years. And the people that do it first are gonna smash it.
I totally agree. We recruited for sales roles recently, and one of the things that I would look at is their LinkedIn profile. Are they posting? How many people are liking their posts? Like, it gives a really good indication on how big their network is if they were to try and target their own network to bring them in. And that really is the competitive advantage of a salesperson when they first join, is who do they know who would want this, in addition to hopefully leads that are being generated by the business. And that's the power of a salesperson, is their network. Who do you know who could bring in, or who do they know who they could refer you to? So it's become one of the criteria when I'm recruiting is, do I think that they could be a thought leader in this space? Can they grab attention? I, like so many others, should post a lot more on LinkedIn. So it's definitely plans, but you often get busy. So you have to spend time to allocate the time to doing it. And then I also think that sales, the typical sales structure, you've got the junior BD or the SDR, you've got an account executive, the person that's then, so the SDR would generate the demos, and then you've got the account executive doing the demos and generating the deals, and then you've got the account manager looking after that. And when I understood that was the structure, let's say that's 100 grand's worth of salaries.
Yep.
How do you do that as a bootstrap perspective to making sure that you can grow and scale it? So I have run the entire sales division here for many years because I couldn't afford that structure. And now, having cloned what I do for the junior SDR, I become the account executive and my team becomes the account managers in their own specialism. That model seems to work a lot better for us. And I was also chatting to a friend of mine recently, and it was 6 months ago, he was looking to take a new job, and he was looking to move over from an established business where he spent the last 8 years building his network into a certain product category. He was on multi-six-figure as a salary plus benefits and bonus, and he was looking to move over to this new company. We did decide to move over because there was a bit of promise of shares, there was a promise of a good pay package, but they were going to put him on contract. And I said, be very careful. Promise of shares doesn't necessarily end result in shares, so don't think that that's a good reason to move over. As you're on a contract, it's very easy to potentially get rid of you. And because of the package that you're demanding and the price point that they have in the market, you may find that they're going to exploit you for your contacts and all the business that you did previously. And then when you haven't got any contacts to give to the business, it's not going to potentially work out in the long term. We had a catch-up call yesterday and he said, I've absolutely kissed a frog. You are 100% right. I'm already looking for a new role and I wasn't able to pay myself in a short space of time. And I said, it might be a vicious cycle where that happens in the next company. So I would only move as in a sales role if they promised me X amount of warm opportunities on my plate, or there's a really good SDR team to get me like the leads I need. Because unfortunately, when he goes into the company, he's doing all the sales hats again. He's got a cold call, he's got a LinkedIn outreach to people to try and start the conversation, which could and should be automated.
Yep.
So I'm not surprised that he wasn't able to make a success because I think the company themselves wasn't mature enough as a sales organization. They're a startup, they're funded. And if they're funded, they haven't been in the trenches and learnt what works. So they just pay to get really great people in, sap them from their network and their knowledge. And then that's how they build and scale, or blitz scale as they like to call it now.
I'm totally on the same page as that. It's been like I said, the evolution of personalisation has been like at the core of your business, especially recently. So it's gone from manually researching people to then getting it like, I don't know, a platform like Clear to do it, and then to creating your own platform that can do it. Where does it go? What's the next step, do you think?
So we're constantly building new products. So AI is here to stay. AI is going to be in every single software. Software is going to have a really hard time because you can actually build software really quickly using AI. So having run a software business for many years, I believe the next stage is AI agents using the software on your behalf. So we're going to have to re-engineer everything. So an AI agent is something that can work independently to solve some sort of problem, and they can all be tied together to be essentially a team, right? So OpenAI's fourth stage, I think it is, where they're going to have AI agents, which is what they're just about to go into. They believe they'll have entire AI-driven companies, no people, potentially, right? And that's a scary thought. These AI agents can go out and have your credit card details and purchase things, or they might be able to earn money for you. I think we're progressing into a scary world. Last week I attended a conference in Vegas, and in that conference everyone was displaying AI this, AI that, and showing how they would transform like the logistic industry. So we're sector agnostic, we can work with any industry that's B2B, and having spoken to many people there, they had the same common problem about reaching out to people, and then in their product they've got AI through and through. So it's really interesting to see where it will be coming out inside of warehouses and all that sort of stuff. But where I think we're going to go as a business is we're going to build on top of the foundations that we've got right now. For the Vegas conference, in a week, we were able to spin up a new tool. So I went around the conference with a colleague of mine, and we spoke to 70 different businesses. We did the whole scan the badge thing. And if you've ever gone to a conference, it's more about the follow-up than the actual interaction you have on the day, because they're talking to hundreds of people. So how do you stand out in that next stage? How do you keep the conversation going? Okay, they were interested at the conference. How do I get a call booked in, which is the natural next step? So what we ended up creating here was an AI voiceover that would record the conversation that we had with each person based on the notes that we collected on the day, and then open up the video with the recalling comments, the anecdotes, the funny stories that we had, the quips, and then it would translate into, as I promised, here's a quick 60 seconds rundown about what we do, and then goes into a mini demo video. So what we're able to do then is upload all the notes, it creates the voiceovers, it stitches it into the video, generates the landing pages, and then I was able to follow up with 70 people on LinkedIn connection requests, and then track if they've watched it, and then feed it into the sales team. That was a really great project that our team here, even though the COO was out and I was out in Vegas, the team here were back innovating, building that product so that we could easily follow up. The one of the videos was really great. We did a basketball shootout with one of the exhibitors there. They beat us, so the voiceover said, "Hey JJ, great to meet you. You certainly whooped my ass at basketball. As promised, here's the 60-second demo." So I think continually building new products and tools into this suite of personalization tech is where I'd like to take the business. And actually it's built a really great, innovative, fun culture where if you can think about it, we can probably build it and add it in. So yeah, I'm excited about where it's going.
Yeah, the next step is to clone you and send somebody else to the conferences, and then that can do all of the follow-ups.
That was scary.
So Andrew, that was like really, really good conversation. I enjoy talking about this stuff. I think there's been a lot of change in the last 6 months, and I think there's even more coming. And I think we're both on the right lines, even if it is in opposite directions. If people like the sound of what you've just said and want to reach out to you, where can they find you?
Yeah, just Andrew Bryce on LinkedIn, so that's BRYCE, or 60seconds.video.
Perfect. Andrew, thank you for coming on. And
thanks for the invite.
Hopefully we can do this again in another 6 months when everything's changed.
Let's do it, because we won't be doing anything. AI is going to be doing everything, right?
Yeah.